the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a driveway awning from Vango. So with me here today I've got the brand new Kela Pro Air TC. So the Kela Pro Air TC Low essentially is a model we've kind of seen in Vango's collection in their driveway category for a few years now, and what we've got is a big kind of update for 23 going on. So there's quite a few changes for it. Really it's kind of just making improvements upon improvements. The Kela has been a model that's been very stable in Vango's collection and also in the TC collection. It's not really changed for a number of years now, so they've really kind of given it a bit more of a facelift and a bit more of a very much needed update going forward, and a few tweaks in here. I think it does, make an improvement, and we'll kind of go through those in this video. First and foremost, what we will talk about is kind of the fabric itself. So what we've got here is the Polycotton version of the awning itself. They do a normal polyester, i.e. the normal Pro version. This is the Pro TC, so technical cotton. The joys of the Polycotton is the fact that it's a breathable material. So on a warm day, be it in the UK or in Europe, the weave will allow it to expand, allow air to pass through. On a cold day, that weave contracts and keeps the warmth in. So one of the best things is on a hot day, it's cooler inside, and on a cold day it's warmer, so it reacts to the temperature as well as having a longer lifespan. You also benefit from pretty much having a very reduced amount of condensation, so you don't get a huge amount in there at all, but also from a longevity, like I said, it's probably at 2 or 3 times the length of a lifespan you'd get with a normal polyester model. It's quick and easy to pitch thanks to its airframe structure, so you've got 2 inflatable tubes and then 1 brace beam in the roof just to keep it all really nice and taut. Comes in standard in one size, so it's just a low height, so it's designed to fit here vehicles between sort of connection points of 180 to sort of 210. So it's really predominantly be your VW camper van kind of size vehicle, that kind of ilk, be it Ford Transits, Mazda Bongos, anything around that kind of remit, which is probably, in honesty, about probably 80% of the market, if not probably higher. So they've really kind of nailed it on the point there. Now, the fabric is kind of been, like I said, it's been eco-fied for the new season. Now, what kind of Vango have been very kind of canning in doing is they've blended sort of 2, obviously, Polycotton is a mixture of polyester and then cotton. It gets the breathability of cotton but dries quicker like polyester. Naturally, its kind of weight is a little bit heavier than polyester, and it's a bit more of a higher maintenance fabric that you want to make sure it's dry before you pack it away for good, and you wouldn't want to leave it in a bag more than 48 hours at a push before, because it's cotton based, mold and mildew is more likely to take over with it. So it doesn't matter if it's still up getting wet, but it's one of those the sort of cons of the Polycotton material. There are benefits and there obviously are negatives. It depends on where you sit. For me, once you go Polycotton, you never go back. You haven't got a synthetic kind of flapping noise. It's a nice fabric. It sits really nice, and generally, I said from all the points I mentioned earlier, is superior. What they've done really is they've actually took their kind of eco-ness in terms of reutilising single-use plastics. So you've got the basically polyester element that is single-use plastics, but it's made into kind of yarn and then woven into fabric. What they've also done is they've also used an organic cotton in that blend to essentially mean it's just a lot more natural and less kind of there's lots sort of pesticides and preservatives and stuff that goes into the fabric itself, which means through the whole process from manufacturing to using it, it's just a cleaner fabric, and obviously it's much nicer to necessarily deal with in every stage of the process all the way down to the end user. The size of it is really quite nice and compact, and you don't really see a smaller Polycotton driveway awning on the market than this. This is where I think it does kind of hit a really nice sort of sweet spot. Necessarily, you do pay for the privilege of having Polycotton, but it is quite a nice little thing as well. One of the other new features as well is we've got this brow canopy pole. So we've now got a rain safe door built onto the side of it, as we see here. So it means you can have this mesh door located beneath it, open all the time, and not have to worry about the water coming directly down and directly in. It gives you a bit more shelter from any wind or rain. Admittedly, if it's driving in from this side, it's not going to protect it fully, but it's just going to stop things dripping in and out, and you haven't got to worry about if you've had rain an hour earlier and you still want to not have the water come into the sewn-in ground sheet. And it's also worth mentioning that it's an aluminium pole as well, so it's a bit more of a higher spec than just say a sort of a cheaper fiberglass pole, a little bit more structure to it as well. Other things worth detailing as well is kind of the webbing straps located on the bottom. So we've got a really nice high visibility bright orange with reflector parts directly in it. And it shows you the key points you want to peg when you kind of pitch it. So you've got one on either side of the tunnel, one to the main body, one to the front. So again, those are your key points you would peg first before you physically pump. Other things as well is you've got the front storm straps located here as well in the same kind of colour, again with that little reflected tint directly in, just to give you a bit of a nicer tauter roof throughout all of it as well. Visibility is crucial into the actual awning itself, so not only we've got a lovely big PVC window, which is their sort of Diamond Pro windows as they call it, little side window as well, and there's also one on the opposite side. All of these have curtains so you can get the privacy when you want to, and they are zip, which we'll look at a bit later on, so you can go kind of halfway as well as fully up. The front door also kind of doubles up as a bit of a canopy, so there are eyelets located in the corner. So what you can actually do is, you've got a really nice comprehensive Velcro. Ooh. So you can buy some additional king poles, and there's eyelets located in the corner. What you're then going to do is kind of bring that out, and you've got a bit more of an overall shelter, so you haven't got to worry about that as such. Located behind this normal door as well, which I will roll up, is a full mesh door. So again, that's going to create your sort of bug-free barriers. Not only have you got one nicely on the side, but you've also kind of got one on the front as well. Ooh, my fingers and thumbs, come on. Bum, bum. Do excuse me for a second. So another thing I quite like is with the mesh door itself, it zips up fully in the because it zips up fully all the way around. What you then benefit, especially when you have the kind of the poles as well, it means you can actually have your sort of bug barrier while have your canopy. So you have your airflow directly in, but it doesn't matter if then it starts to rain, you are kind of quite covered around that. The Vango branding is quite nice as well, and it almost looks like it's floating in midair, which is also a bit of a benefit. And then you've got a mesh part built up the top of here when you do have the doors shut. Again, just to increase airflow, just to make it a bit fresher and airier on the inside. As we look on the outside, we've also moved back to the tunnel section. The tunnel's actually got two doors on either side, so it means you can access the main part of the van without going through the awning every single time. Other things to note as well is you've got an adjustment strap located here as well, so you can alter the adjustment height to make sure that door looks tight and you can actually use that, and it just gathers up the fabric quite nice and neatly. From an attachment point of view, you can either go down the lines of feeding it directly into kind of an awning rail or a winder awning with a fixing kit. You have a little sleeve located on top for a pole and clamp kit. Webbing strap located there, which comes included to throw over the top of the van and peg down the other side. And if need be, there is also Velcro tabs to go around some roof bars. So 4 main different ways you can attach it to your van. So even if you haven't got anything pre-attached, straps over the top is going to probably be your best port of call. But so let's kind of look inside the awning and talk through a load more features that this new organic Kela TC has to offer. So now we're inside the Kela, you can probably appreciate for the overall space you've got internally here. So generally it's quite a nice bit of room, about 310 wide, but around about sort of 2.5 meters sort of deep, sort of thereabouts. Joys of this being is it's enough space, it's big enough without being too big. So you've also got the tunnel section of course, but all around enough for a table and chairs quite happily in here. I think perfectly for sort of couples. You do have the ability, if you really wanted to actually sleep people inside the awning as well. So you can buy a 2-berth bedroom, which would pretty much take up half your internal space. Put a double air bed in there quite happily and sleep 2 people in nice and neatly. It is reversible, so you could put it on this side if you really wanted to. But for me, I think you'd go with this side because then you still access to the side door. And naturally, probably depending on your van, this door opens from sort of left to right as we look at it, so it means that you can almost cut off that side of space, and this is your main kind of gangway directly through. As mentioned on the outside, we do have crystal clear windows located throughout the awning itself. In fact, what I'll do is move the chair out of the way. We've got curtains located down here, so the curtains are all zip up, so you get a really sort of thorough coverage to it. It also means you can actually have it kind of halfway, chuck the excess down over the other side, So you've still got a little bit of privacy, but also allowing some light in. If you want ultimate amount of privacy, zip it fully up to the top. You've still got a sky window located on both sides to allow light to come directly in, and same with the sort of fronts. The two kind of on the angle ones, we'll call them, and they toggle in place, but the front one certainly zips up to give it that extra bit of coverage. By taking this down, all we're going to do, apart from wearing it, is roll it down, and then it sort of toggles down nice and neatly at the bottom. What they've actually done is actually increased the size of this window just fractionally to just give you more light directly inside of it as such. I shall move my chair back. We've also in the Kela got little SkyTrack system built into it, so we have things like organisers hanging directly down. We can add lights to it, so you've got lots of flexibility. You get 10 sky hooks in standard included with the actual Kela itself, so that's always worth going for. And you can also, for little details like having cable entry points, let's just get rid of this completely actually. Located down the bottom here, allow you to have your mains or some electric into the awning without having to leave the door open all the time. The main door itself, apologies for the mess behind, opens from left to right as we see. You can either have it half open, or you can actually then go fully open, depending if you want to have a little bit of an entrance in and then create that rear storage section. So it'd be kind of a rear storage section directly behind here if you wanted to. For me, probably half of them is more inclined people are going to do that, because this is often going to emulate the same thing your sliding doors go do on sort of your transit or whatever. So it opens again, if it's on the passenger side, opens from sort of front to back. So this then comes your main kind of gangway itself. Of course, you can then zip that back fully if you wanted to kind of really benefit from having an open space. So you have got the option of doing what you want to do there. And because it zips not only along the top but along the bottom and Velcro's back in the corners, you get a really nice proper seal to it. So it does feel like its own little micro environment directly in here. There's a brace beam as standard that comes included with the actual Kela, and you just Velcro it in, Velcro it out as you wanted to. With this, you've also got Vango's TBS system, stands for tension band system. And what it's designed to do is create basically internal guide points, probably the easiest way of talking about it. So what you do is you will just clip these little webbing straps directly into the top of the awning here. And then what it does, it creates a triangle formation on each side. It's basically give you sort of internal bracing. So that means you've got wind coming in from one side. You just tighten up a little bit, not too tight. And then as that sort of flexes, it retains the strength by creating that point out, and also with the guy ropes, or guy points I should say, on either side. It's something probably you're not really going to use that often. I would only probably pop it in if you're leaving the awning for a period of time. I wouldn't ever, if you're actually utilising an inside of it, I probably wouldn't put them in, just because you are going to potentially lynch someone, which is never a good thing. You've got a fully sewn in ground sheet built into the Kela as well, which is really quite nice, so it feels completely enclosed. There are optional extras, things like a carpet or a footprint. The footprint I would definitely highly recommend, as well as other things like extra king poles, as previously mentioned, or your fixing kits, little flexible saber lights. So you can really kind of, I wouldn't say tart up the awning, but really kind of make it more homely. For sure, it's probably a better terminology for it. So yeah, there's little touches like this, but let's get a bit more kind of actually up close and personal with some of these features I've been mentioning, just to give you a bit more of an idea. So you really flaunt out that mesh door, especially with that brow canopy pole, so again, rain safe, especially with that sort of window directly in there, works really nicely as well. You can probably just about see the clear SkyTrack system, and one thing I do like is it runs all the way down to the very base of the tubes, so if you wanted to have something kind of going across, like a pocket organiser, I'm thinking more on a side door, a side window here, I think that works really nicely. Or you have your lighting going all the way fully up, directly down and round. Your abrasive beam located there, and the door position. Little clip point down here, so that is for the bedroom. Is one in sort of all four corners and two in the middle. And again, you can see these little windows even on the outside there, works really quite nicely. And this big old opening. And kind of as we come out and round, you can see the rain safe canopy door. little guide points on there, and the aluminium pole just goes down into a fitting. You've got a strap here located here, so when you drive away, you basically will strap it back just to give it a bit more support because it's not relying on the van anymore. And then here, as previously mentioned, you've got the clip to go over the top, the pole which will feed directly into there and go into kind of a gutter, the beading that's onto the cater already, or failing that, you've got webbing straps located there, which can then subsequently, Velcro onto a point. There's a slight cut to it again, so it's designed to sort of fit underneath the vehicle a little bit, and again with those colour coordinated tabs. And you've got this sort of entry door, so you can, like I said, come into the van without going through said awning. All in all, that's kind of everything really in the main points about the Kela. I think it's the small touches they have kind of really done, I think, are a nice improvement, with the little brow canopy pole, the new organic and eco Polycotton material, the slightly larger window from that side of things, the colour change in kind of the Skytrack is more of a clear. So there's all these little touches I think are a really nice kind of improvement on what was kind of definitely more, I wouldn't say niche, but definitely more sought after for those who know about Polycotton, the benefits for it, or have had polyester condensation issues, or going abroad. I think for the UK we can get away with using polyester just because we don't tend to have as hot as summers, but saying that, 22 was quite warm. But the more we're seeing, hotter and hotter climates, the more people are switching to Polycotton, just that more comfortable living space temperature inside, and that longevity as well. So we are seeing a bit of a change really, so that's where I think this model is probably more important than ever. For more questions, queries or concerns, feel free to contact us directly and let us know what you think in the comments box below. If you want more information on the product itself, you can check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to the product on our website. We've got all the things from pack sizes, pitch dimensions, pack weights, individual features, our pitching and packing video, other extras you can buy with it. So it's all kind of there for you, ready for you whenever you need that information. Of course, prices and so as well. But yeah, that's kind of our little video review on the brand new Vango Kela TC Pro Air Low for the 23 season going forward. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we shall see you again soon.